What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are jumping into another German Shepherd, which is a Superflex tournament right now, open on Underdog, or maybe closed by the time this video is posted. I'm not sure. I go back to work this week, so I am drafting way ahead of time for my future self to post. We're drafting from the 5 spot here. So 5 spot probably is Drake Maye. You could pull up Daniels or Burrow, but I have Maye in the 5 spot. If Maye goes and Robinson were to fall, that would be a question, but I haven't gotten Drake Maye in this format yet, and I'm pretty high on him. I think there might be a little bit of regression in that offense this year, but not enough for me not to want Drake Maye there. So, okay, Allen, Jackson, Gibbs go. Jackson gets pulled ahead of Gibbs here. Probably Bijan right here. Again, if someone takes Burrow or Daniels, or even if this person takes Maye, I guess we could look at Burrow here, but I've done Burrow a little bit later. I'm not sure I'd want Burrow this high. All right, so he takes Daniels. We're still going to take Drake Maye over Robinson. I've gotten some Robinson. I did want to start with Maye here. I think this sets us up nicely for the second and third round. Burrow goes, Robinson falling all the way to the 7 drafter. A gift from the gods, for sure. We are part of that gift-giving extravaganza. So on the turnaround right here at 20, again, this is Superflex, so the ADP you're looking at here is very, very different. We might be looking at a Dart or a Purdy, and I have a pretty hard fall off after Purdy down to Nick, Goff, Murray. So I think this might be a 3 QB start, because if we take Purdy there, right, we could be looking at a Stafford in the third, or even a Jordan Love potentially in the third, right? Jordan Love's right there. So, and just start 3 QB. So I've said it in plenty of my drafts. If you're not familiar with Superflex, there are 3 main schools of thought. All in on QB and get 2 or 3 of them in the first 3 rounds, or 3 of them in the first 4 rounds, or 3 of them in the first 3 rounds. Ignore QB and pick up the positional advantage, right? And then kind of the hybrid build where you take what falls. Again, this year, as I've started doing these, I have found that taking what falls actually does jeopardize your construction a little bit. I found that out real quick because these are such quarterback hungry rooms, right? So there's something to consider. 8 quarterbacks go off in the first round here, another 3. So there's 11 quarterbacks already off the board. So that is something to consider. And when that happens, all the positional value that bunches up in rounds 4, 5, 6 is really good. It's really, really good. So grabbing the quarterbacks now seems to make sense. So it's coming up on us. If we have our choice between Mahomes and Dart, I think I'd actually take Dart over Mahomes. I'll take either of them here, but Purdy did go off, so that's important to note. Purdy went off here at the turn, which is interesting. So there, yeah, there's the tier break right there, unfortunately, that we were talking about. So we could take Bo Nix. We also have just Smith and Jigba and James Cook on the board. I am really heavy weighted on James Cook, and I think I'm going to stay that way and just be fine taking him here. I got Maye last year late in both my 2 quarterback leagues that are redraft leagues that I'm the commissioner of, and paired him with James Cook in both leagues and won both those leagues last year because I got Cook late in the 3rd in one of those drafts and Maye in like the 10th, and then the other one got Maye in like the maybe 10th or 11th and got Cook in the 4th round of the other one. So now we are going to want to snag a quarterback here. With the positional value starting to flow, the quarterbacks are going to flow off the board too. So the Allen player opts to go Bo Nix, Jared Goff. Sometimes you see the Allen player really push on quarterback, but Allen, Nix, Goff is good. So Stafford, Jordan Love, and Baker Mayfield are both very good considerations here. I'm happy to have either of them as our QB2. So Kyler Murray goes. I'm pretty equal on both these guys. There's also Shug. I'm super high on Shug this year, but I've got a fair amount of him already. So I'm going to pull up and take Jordan Love here. And then we won't get a quarterback we're interested in here. If we do, we'll take another one. But otherwise, we'll build one of these. We'll have one of these builds where we're just in on the quarterbacks we took, and kind of, if they don't work out, this team doesn't work out, right? Burrow, Dart goes for Mayfield there. So the quarterbacks are really going to drop off now. After there's another tier break here, down to Darnold, Willis, Stroud, or Jones. Then I'm okay with like a Jones or a Stroud if they make it back here. The way this room's going, it doesn't look like they will, but we'll see. Should goes there. So very QB heavy third round. Very QB heavy third round so far. Jefferson goes to the Hertz Taylor player. Nice balance build through three there. The Chase player is going that polar opposite of the Allen player and just saying, okay, give me all the positional advantages. My roster will look like I drafted with people who don't know what they're doing, even though his quarterback room is going to be tough. That's for sure. Williams, Prescott, Hampton. I like that start. I like that start. I think even better over ours over May, Cook, and Love. I like that start a lot. Barkley. So yeah, I mean, if we pull Knicks up there, which Love and Knicks, this whole tier dies is the same to me. If we pull Knicks up there, I guess we still wind up with like Hampton or Henry back here, which is fine. Would I rather have Cook and Love or Knicks and Hampton or Barkley? It's the same. All right, the Lawrence Purdy player takes Darnold after taking Chase Brown as their anchor running back. Malik Willis off the board. Again, of these guys, like Cam Ward and Daniel Jones are kind of the same. CJ Stroud is fine. I'll take any of those. That's fine. And then we'll just look to pick up their receiving threats later, and those will be our stacks. We can look for AJ Brown, and there's some really good wide receiver value with Jordan Love, with Watson and Reed where they go, so that's interesting as well. And Tucker Kraft is a excellent option. AJ Brown goes here, then Stroud goes, so we're not going to get AJ Brown. This player just continues to punt on quarterback, which is fine. Dangerous spot is they're going to need one to start. So, okay, Cam Ward goes there. Daniel Jones is next up. And if we pass on him, we could get like an Aaron Rodgers or whatever. If we don't, we could pick up Drake London here. I think I actually like doing this, picking up London here. And then we'll look for the pieces of the Atlanta backfield. If a quarterback we don't like goes here, we'll grab Penix and Tua in later rounds and just be okay with that. And know that, we took London to pull that maneuver off. Although I want to say ADP, Penix, and Tua are over here, but when you're doing something like this, you're kind of saying, all right, I don't mind pulling it up a little bit. Jones still on the board. The other thing we could have done was Reshawn McBride and then look to pull up Brissett. I did that. Did somebody already take Brissett? No. Okay. I did that in another draft over here on this side and was happy to do it. All right, so the Allen Niche golf player grabs Brees Hall, starts off the running back room, and Kyron Williams. This has been a very strong draft maneuver that I've seen where you start three quarterback and then just draft heavy into RB, or start two quarterback and draft heavy into RB. The Burrow Dart Mayfield player also goes with Cam Ward. Interesting call out there. So Daniel Jones falls to us, and I think he's got a higher upside than the Atlanta piece, but we could also grab Trey McBride here. There's also Jacobs. You know what? Let's go ahead and grab Trey McBride. And I don't think Brissett makes it down here. Let's take a look. Brissett is 80 ADP. So we could pick him up right on schedule right here and pair him with McBride. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hoopla man here out of the this is the 9 spot. He doesn't have a quarterback yet. So, and if we don't get Brissett, we can just double tap the Atlanta quarterbacks and be okay with that. But that gives us nice positional advantage with McBride, and then if we grab Kraft later, we're just totally done with tight end. Of note, if Aaron Rodgers or Fernando Mendoza were to fall back, that'd be a consideration. Again, Brissett goes at 80, so what we can look to do is try to pick him up just before ADP here. ADP is kind of weird. The later you get with Superflex, that means he's getting drafted anywhere from 60 up to, 100, which probably not 100, but 80 could be a little bit more of a, not a true ADP because of the way Superflex boards get adjusted. So the Lawrence Purdy, Brown, Darnold, Montgomery player gets Neighbors. It's great. Nakua got Herbert, Willis, and Aaron Rodgers. Don't love the quarterback room. Like the backfield, like Nakua, but don't love this construction. Williams and Prescott got Hampton, Achane, Swift, and Devontae Smith. That's great. Brissett goes here. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. We'll pick up some of the Atlanta room and be okay with it. So here with Love and Drake May. We are still getting excellent value. I think with only having one running back, we probably want to pull a running back up here. Quishon Judkins would be my highest. I have him above Irving. Great. So we'll take Quishon Judkins here. For the Tua slash Penix Gambit, they're 91 and 104. So they are kind of here in this range, right? We have that right? 91 and 104. So we might be able to pull that off down here. If we don't get them, then we're going to turn into one of those drafts where we're just banking on Maye and Love. And we can grab a quarterback at the end if we want. You know, if I knew I wasn't going to get those guys, I would just stick a dry Fernando Mendoza or in there. But I think I'd rather run it like this and just draft completely to the upside and say, hey, Love and Maye are going to be healthy all year. They do have the same bye week. Okay, that I didn't know. That's kind of brutal. And we have Quinshon Judkins and Drake London on bye. So this seems a shot on week 11, but that's okay. To make it out. So we're not going to look too hard to try to like course correct for that. Tua is week 11 as well. So we're just shutting our team off on week 11. We know that. All right, 77 ADP here. It's filled with wide receiver du jour. There's so many. Running back wise, there is Jadarian Price, which I'm going to go ahead and grab him. We're still going to be able to load up at running back at wide receiver later. I like having Price as my third running back with Judkins and Cook. And we already have London and McBride, so we have some receiving threat. You only play two receivers, a receiver, of course, on your flex, but we should get a pretty nice receiver back here if the Penix Tua thing doesn't pan out. We can look to do that too, though. Is take Penix and Tua here, and then if we do that and we pass on wide receiver to 116, we're looking at our second wide receiver being somewhere in the Alex Pierce, DK Metcalf, Tyler Sutton, Reed's down there, which is great. Right? And I don't think they fall, but that tier of Watson and Dunze is up here too. So if we don't want to grab Tua and Penix in this range, we can get, Christian Watson to pair him with Love. But feeling pretty good about this start. And again, we'd have to, if we wanted to get all of Atlanta's backfields, we'd have to commit both these picks. And so we kind of have to decide now whether we want that wide receiver value or whether we want to pull Tua up, which wide receiver value, again, is going to be super high here. There's some really, really good names. So we'll kind of just see what's available to us and go from there. James Williams, Tony Pollard. So we do have our option. We can take Watson here. I think I am going to pull Tua up, take Tua. Watson doesn't wheel. That's totally fine. Jaden Reed should. And then if Penix is here and he does it, 104? Then we just know we have Love. And again, what's funny is they're all on week 11. So, and Quishon Judkins and Drake London are week 11. So we're just shutting our team off that way. I'm okay with it. The heck with it. That's just what this draft is. If Penix falls here, great. Because I'm okay having Reed and Quentin Johnson or whomever down here as my second wide receiver. Conversely, the options here are like DJ Moore, Dowdle, Tyson, Harvey, Tucker Kraft. Actually, you know what? Well, and he goes right there. I was about to say, let's actually just take Tucker Kraft and pair him up with Love and have McBride and Tucker Kraft and be done. But that's totally fine. I'm okay not having Kraft once I have McBride. But again, I think all of these guys are good, but they're not so good that I don't want to pull this experiment off and just not have to touch quarterback again and just have our set. And that way we have both pieces that are passing to London. Oh, Penix goes there. Well, I say all that, and now we get one of these pieces. I think I'm still going to bypass a wide receiver and pick up Dobbins here. I have a lot of Dobbins, and I just think that's his backfield, so we're taking him. And then again, of course, on wide receiver on the turnaround, we have insane value here. There's Reed, maybe Sutton falls, Quentin Johnson, Michael Wilson, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin, Josh Downs. It's like that whole run of players. And we're actually ahead of schedule on that. We're 116, 125, so we should get two of those guys. And Dobbins pairs nicely with Cook, Judkins, and Price. So our team so far is Drake May, Jordan Love, Tua, James, Cook, Quentin Judkins, Quishon Judkins, Jadarian Price, J.K. Dobbins, Drake London, and McBride. Now, again, you do only start two receivers in this format as opposed to three. And you start two running backs, and then you have a super flex, a flex plus the tight end. So, plus your one quarterback, obviously. So it's okay that we punted on receiver. Um, there are better receiver rooms than us, obviously, but we have one of the last of what I consider to be kind of blue chip pieces. He is a tier below Jefferson Lamb, but not too far below. I have him at the top of the tier of AJ Brown, Collins, Pickens, Smith, actually. So, and I think most people do. So he's a good anchor wide receiver to sort of build on. Okay, Johnson goes up here. So I'm thinking Reed gets to us. He should. He's at 119. So we should be able to get two of these guys. So Sutton actually is ahead of Reed, but if we take Sutton, do we get Reed back? I guess we'll see. Where is the niche? No, the niche drafter is down here. So what's more important, getting our stat or taking a guy I think he's a little higher? Now they're right next to each other. All right, Sutton does anyway. So we'll take Jaden Reed here and get the pairing, and then we'll have one of these guys on the way back around. I guess we put Worthy in there as well, and we're cool with that. The other thing is, as we look at tight ends, there's some interesting tight ends here. We could grab Pitts. In fact, I'm actually inclined to do that if Pitts makes it back here, because then we have the Pitts London correlation. Again, just keeping all of our folks on by week 11 and just punting on week 11 essentially. But I don't think Pitts is going to make it back. The Kraft player might take him. This player probably actually wants Kyle Pitts, but they might take Fannin. Fannin just went, excuse me. So he's the highest on the board? Yeah, he's the highest on the board. He's the highest by ADP as well. So he'll probably go. Then the question is, do we want to reach on like a George Kittle versus Dave? Well, Kittle goes. I don't want Chelsea. I don't care about that. So as long as we can get Laporta to fade Pitts, we pick him up. Feel pretty good about that. He takes Kyle Pitts, of course. Sniped. So do we want? I don't think we want Chelsea. Out of all these guys, um, yeah, let's go ahead and just take. I don't have a ton of Michael Wilson. Suppose he's fine. Take him. We have McBride as well, so maybe we can just stick a naked Carson back somewhere in here. And we did not naked, he's paired, but like just say, hey, if Brissett loses the job or if the Cardinals are that bad halfway through the season that they want to experiment with getting back some play time to see who they have to be that. Unless we get a tight end, which even if we do now, even if we got like a Mark Andrews, I'd probably still draft three. I do like Kincaid and Likely upside as well as Mark Andrews, obviously, but I don't think Mark Andrews made it back to us. So we'll probably take one at 140 here. Um, Maybe one of these guys falls to us. I think there's a drop off then to Goddard, and then we could look to grab maybe Matthew Golden as well. We'll be a little late on Golden. We're at 140, 149, but maybe we pick up Golden and then try to wheel one of these guys. They're all in the same run there, so uh, I like Parasol in this range too, but he probably won't fall. And then there's insert your folks here. I feel pretty good with this room of running backs. We will add more, but I feel pretty good that I can look at maybe getting something better than just a terrible tight end at the very end, like I always do. And maybe yeah, like I just said, maybe we can just pick up a random back later. Okay, lightly there goes the Williams press stop player. Cousins goes off Sanders. So okay, the team that went Chase, McCaffrey, Henry, Brown, AJ Brown, Loveland picks up Brissett, then goes Evans, Stevenson, Harrison, Harvey, Shadur Sanders, and Kirk Cousins. I'm not sure any of these three quarterbacks will be starting by the end of the season. I'm not sure that one of these quarterbacks will be starting at the end of the season. So I really don't love this stack. Brissett probably will, but then you're just guaranteeing you can't get one of these players in your super flex. But I guess you're saying, hey, I have all these assets. You know, Mike Evans or Stevenson or one of these guys is going to find their way in. Okay, we're on the clock. Yeah, we'll take Kincaid here. I do value him higher than the other folks, and since we kind of got sniped on, um, Golden right beforehand. I probably would have taken Golden there just to have the double stat, but since we got sniped, that's totally fine. Then we're at 149. Uh, Probably want to grab another receiver. I'm looking at the. Um, I don't think Concepcion Falls he doesn't, right? Higgins. I don't really have much Coker this year. I tend to get reeled in by Tyler Algier down here. I have a ton of him. I might have him in like every one of these drafts so far. There's also Carson Beck right here. I guess we could take him. He'd be at what? He's at 156, and we're at 149. So it wouldn't be wild to take him there. I only have three receivers, but the receiver value here is just meh. Higgins and Wandell and all these guys, and I don't love Pacheco. So maybe we can reach down on back and pull him up and just throw him in there. Say, what if he's throwing touchdowns to Trey McBride at the end of the season? That's fine. I'm cool with that. These are 20 rounds as opposed to 18, so you got the flexibility to take a few of these extra quarterbacks. So we'll grab Carson back. That's fine. We'll be up again now on the turnaround at 164 into 173. We need running backs and wide receivers. So if we look down here, there's a great tier of guys in Jonah Coleman, Brian Robinson, excuse me, Sampson. You got Hawkinson and Schultz, both in those ranges, so they're great. And then you got the Nailers, McMillans, Boston's, Juwan Jennings of the world, also Tank Bisbee. So there's a good run of guys here. I like the run of guys down there better than I like this group of Woody Marksy, Stefan Diggsy, Arando Gatsony folks here. I like Algier as kind of like the standout of this. We could also look to grab Hunter Henry if he falls. He's at 157. We're going to be at 164, so he'd have to fall a long way. But I would stack him in there if he makes it. He probably won't, but that's totally okay. Uh, Juwan Johnson's at 162. I like him this year. I think one of the things about tight end is if you get a couple of decent ones, you can figure one of them's going to when you have them at Bride or Bowers or Loveland, you can figure one of them's going to show up in your flex, your traditional flex spot occasionally, and that's something. Marks, Charbonnet, Coleman, Strange all up the board after Boston. So there's a shot Hunter Henry makes it back to us. We'll take him. And then I guess we're going to take one of the running backs. Hunter Henry sniped. This guy sniped us on Golden and Henry, man. Tell you what. Out of these guys, I I don't really care. Let's take Jawan Johnson, and then it doesn't matter if we're running back. We'll get Bigsby or Tucker. But now we're obviously done at tight end, right? But we'll get Bigsby or Tucker. I'm okay with Juwan Jennings and the other Tucker, Trey Tucker here. Um, One of the guys I don't want to miss out on is Ray Davis. So let's go ahead and locate him. He's at 191. Where will we be drafting in relation to that? Because we have James Cook, and I think if Cook goes down, Ray Davis is a lead winner. So we'd have to hope he gets to ADP if we don't take him here at 173. Mm, the other option is like Dylan Sampson at the top of ADP here, which I guess is okay. I have a ton of him, man. I'll probably take Tank Bigsby here just as I have so much Dylan Sampson. It's ridiculous. Well, we have Juckins, so that actually gives us all of that backfield. Take that back. But he'll probably go in here, right? This team needs running backs. They only have Gibbs and Genty. Literally only have Gibbs and Genty. So they're going to want somebody back here. Unless. All right, Dylan Sampson. I would say, yeah, there's no way. So we could pull him up. I think we go. Bigsby. I've got a ton of Sean Tucker. I've got a ton of Dylan Sampson. We'll obviously look to prioritize Ray Davis on the way back through. Tucker's not going to fall. On the way back through, if he makes it. If he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. There's also like Singleton down there. For our stacks, we're kind of done after we get May and Love and Tua. But we're like kind of done. We do have with back. We'll have Michael Wilson and McBride if he steps in. If Tua keeps the job, we've got London. Love has Jaden Reed. We did not get any of the Drake May targets, but that's okay. I think of the pieces in that offense, Drake May is the one you want, not the targets. Unlike the Cardinals offense, where McBride is the one you want, not the quarterback. All right, Matt Jones. No, all the backups are going off the board. And it's okay to take flyers on the slate. So, like, Purdy, he gets his handcuff there. Matt Jones is a great handcuff. I don't think you just want to be slapping handcuffs in. But if you have a good one like Matt Jones, I think that's a pretty good idea. Again, the Brissett player winding up with Shedeur Sanders, Kirk Cousins, and McCaffrey, not so great. Not so great. Um, with McBride, maybe we didn't want to take a third quarterback there, but I'm okay with it. Allen nicks Goff, ends up with Hall, Williams, and Tootin for a backfield. Flowers, Moore, Godwin, Downs, Shakir. So you got Moore and Shakir. He also picked up Kraft. Goddard, Spears, and Rounds. Yeah, pretty good. We're about to be back up on the clock. We'll grab our boy Ray Davis. And then on the turnaround, I guess now we're at the point where we really need to start grabbing wide receivers. So if Judy wheels, cool. If he doesn't wheel, Branch is fine. I've got a ton of Bernard, and I'm basically not taking any of Adonai Mitchell here. Um, yeah, all these guys are fine. Bernard's fine. I've been trying to split my take on Wicks and Lee Washington. So we're done on quarterback. We're done on tight end. All we need is wide receivers and running backs. We got 4 picks left. I could see us taking 4 wide receivers or 3 wide receivers in a running. I could see us taking 4 wide receivers here for sure. I don't think I've gotten any Jerry Judy here, so I'm cool with Judy Wheels. He's cool. Otten's not bad in this range too. Yeah, we only have 3 wide receivers. That's wild. What's wild work? Okay. We definitely punted on wide receiver. That's maybe where we're way behind here. But that again, this team needs our guys to stay healthy and be available. Otherwise, we're in trouble. All right. So when we get back around here, we're at the 212 and the 221. Looking at wide receiver in the 212, 221 range. You're like Ted Hurst, Cooper Kupp, Pat Bryant, Darnell Mooney. These guys. That's fine. We have any late stacking? I don't know if I want Booty. I don't even know if he's playing this year at New England. Is he? I don't even know. Um, Troy Franklin's fine. These are all good dudes. All these dudes work. I'm not going to start Malik. I mean, okay, I can. They're not going to be there, but we'll just take any of them, any combination of the few. Keon Coleman, somebody I take in the last round. Back to someone else. Starlet Bell, someone you take in the last round. All these names are the same. I don't want Kendrick Bourne. I want the third receiver in Arizona. Good on that. Good on that. All right, we went too light at wide receiver. We do have McBride. I think we needed a wide receiver here instead of Juwan Johnson, like McMillan or Jennings or even Hunter. I think we wanted a wide receiver here. Maybe that was our mistake. Besides that, our team is great. We're just real light at wide receiver. And yes, you only start 2 of them, but you need like you need you need the scoring ability. So Cooper Cup's the highest. Let me put Mooney above Cup, especially if oh, I guess AU can tank Dell. I'm so low on Tank Dell. I never even start him. I'm just so low on him. I don't like CJ Stroud, so I'm not huge on his receiving threats, with exception of Nico Collins. Even Nico Collins is something. So we got May and Love. We got Cook, Judkins, Price, Dobbins, Bigsby, and Davis. I like the backfield a lot. Obviously, our wide receiver room is weak, but we do have London and Reed, and we're just praying. Well, we're banking on these guys staying healthy, and we got a good smattering of tight ends. And there is an occasion that one of these tight ends could wind up in our flex, our traditional flex role, which means we only need Drake London and like Reed, Wilson, Judy, or Mooney on a week-to-week basis to show up for wide receiver too, which is kind of when we build this way, we're saying, hey, yeah, our wide receiver is never going to wind up in our flex. We're going to hope that our wide receivers just show up to the party. Dell finally goes off the board. I'm not the only one who's not super high on him. Surratt's fine. Throw him in the mix. I'm not super high on Cooper Cup. He does have that week 11 bye, so I guess that's like maybe it. But I think his name keeps him up there. I don't think he's actually like worth it. But I mean, we'll take him. It's fine. But like, I'm not super high on him this year. And then I think we'll go for Styler Bell in the final round. Just draft one of my Bills. We have Kincaid, so we'll just have a little bit of receiving threat there. So looking out across the board, the Burrow, Dart, Mayfield, Ward team ended up with Etienne, Irving, Warren, Hubbard, Gainwell, and then has Sutton, Worthy, Golden, Robinson, Henry, Tucker, Kamara. This is a team that was sniping us. Yeah, they did pretty good. They wound up pretty well after going four QB, bully QB style. They definitely did well. The Lawrence, Purdy, Brown, Darnold, Montgomery team got Neighbors, Waddle, Adams, White, Jones, Ferguson, Andrews, got Matt Jones late. They're okay. They got a couple of late round flyer running backs. Williams, Prescott, Marin, Hampton, Achan, Devontae Smith, Swift, Burden Odunze. So they get Burden Odunze with Caleb Williams. We've done that in a draft. We also got Loveland in that draft. So we took Loveland here and we ended up with Burden Odunze. I think exactly in this spot. And we got Williams Herbert here. And yeah. Um, so they have an interesting team. I actually like that, like all that correlation. I probably would have gone with Loveland here, but they got sniped. Okay, right. This team again is just so far behind here at quarterback. I just don't think they can catch up. I really don't. And we'll pick up our last receiver here, and we went 4-6-7-3. I think we're good with that when we take James Cook, Judkins, and Price and Dobbins. Like two of these guys are going to go every week into our slots, and one of them is going to wind up occasionally in our. Um, is going to wind up occasionally in our flex. So Torrey Horton would be the highest here. There's also Bateman, Butte. I don't know. I'll take Bell. Just take the Bill in the last round. Feel pretty good about it. Again, we just need London to be everything we think he can be, and we'll feel pretty good about it. Lance, Bateman, and we will rip Styler Bell off the board. And yeah, so the final construction ended up with May, Love, Tua, and Beck at quarterback, Cook, Judkins, Price, Dobbins, Bigsby, Wade Davis at running back, London, Reed, Wilson, Judy, Mooney, Cup, Bell at wide receiver, and McBride, Kincaid, Juwan Johnson at tight end. One of these tight ends, Juwan Johnson, should be a wide receiver, and I feel a lot better about this team, but I don't hate it. I don't think it's the worst team we've drafted in these so far from a Superflex perspective, but it's probably not the best either. It's just kind of right in the middle, but all good. And I like our stack against this room, right? I think that some teams kind of missed the mark on how they were trying to construct themselves. So I think we'll be in good shape. Appreciate you guys stopping by and appreciate the views in the video. If you liked it and you want more, hit the like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.